All right, so let's label that. We are on unit 15. Now I'm going to label this. This is an electrochemical cell. Remember, we referred to cell in our class as a battery or cell. We have some that are also called galvanic cells or voltaic. There's slight differences between them. We're going to focus on electrochemical, the flow of electrons. And so just some names of them. So what is it going to look like when you're actually in lab? How do we draw that in paper? Well, we're going to start off, we're going to use a beaker. So I'm going to put a beaker here. And I'll put another beaker. So you have two beakers. In each of the beakers, you're going to pour a solution. So pour the solution, make it a little wavy. I'm going to pour, in this beaker, I'm going to pour zinc sulfate. So it's a little aqueous because they're ions that are going to be in the solution. And in this one, I'm choosing to do copper sulfate. Purposely, I'm doing a different one from the ones you're practicing. That way you can use this as a guide for your practice problems. So I'm actually going to put the ion that is going to be utilized, and not the spectator, not the anion. I'm going to put the positive one and show you that we've got the little aqueous zinc in there. We've got aqueous copper in there, Cu2. Yes, there is sulfate, SO4, negative ion here. Yes, there is a sulfate in here. But in our big picture of how this works, we won't need to talk too much about that. Okay, so we don't need to talk too much about that. So I'm not putting that into the solution so it doesn't confuse you. What we are going to put in the solution is a piece of metal. So I'm going to put a piece of metal in both of these solutions, and I'm going to label, let's say, metal. And particularly, I'm going to, if I have a zinc solution, I'm going to put a zinc metal. And let's put the state of matter. It's a solid. It's a metal. So if it's my copper solution, I'm going to place a piece of copper solid metal. So piece of metal, just so we can clear. So I cut out a piece of metal and I put that in there. You're like, well, it kind of bobs around. That's, how do I connect these two solution and metals together? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use alligator clips, like clips that can clip on to the metal. And another alligator clip on here, clips onto the metal. And I'm going to connect it with a metal wire. So let's just label that metal wire. I need to make some sort of flow available, flow of electrons available. And in this case, I've got the metal flow. Okay? But you notice it's just a one-sided flow. So it's either going to flow left to right, or it's going to flow right to left. We will find out which way direction it is, but we need to do a little bit more investigation with that. There's something else, so we need to make sure that we're flowing and that it doesn't just go one side to the other. So what we connect from one solution or one aqueous solution to the other aqueous solution is something called a salt bridge. And I know everyone thinks of salt as table salt, NaCl. That's like the first thing you visualize. But remember that in chemistry, a salt is an ionic solution, right? So it's something that has a metal and a non-metal. So in our class, we don't have, you can use a rubber tubing. In the rubber tubing, you can pour the solution and cap it with maybe some cotton balls. Well, I don't have that rubber tubing. We're going to make it more simplistic than that. I have sheets of cotton, and I'm going to cut them into strips, and you're going to soak that in some sort of ionic solution, in a salt solution. So to draw that, it's going to be kind of mushy cotton. So maybe I'll just draw it like this to indicate that it's a mushy cotton. I'm going to label this as a salt bridge. And I'm going to give an example since, oh wait, let me label salt again just so we can visualize. It's an ionic, it's aqueous. I'm going to put an example, and I'll use the one that you're all thinking of, sodium chloride, right? Sodium chloride in aqueous form is positive and negative chlorine, positive and negative. So that is that salt bridge. So now I can make a flow of electrons happen, more of a flow. And we will get to what the salt bridge is. I'm going to just tell you why we're using it. I'm not going to go into a lot of details focusing on what's happening molecularly in here. It's just not, I can't expand at this time, right? But I'm going to show you the big picture so we can see what's happening. On this metal wire, if I connected, okay, remember Mrs. Selkson is a chemist, not an artist. So this, if I connected a light bulb, this would light up if the electrons were flowing, right? It would light up. What we're going to do in class is we are actually going to connect a box called a voltmeter that you may have seen in physics class. And that voltmeter is going to be measurable. We'll be able to measure it. We'll be able to see the voltage. So here's the setup. That's just a simple setup of what it looks like. Now we need to figure out, well, which direction do these electrons flow? It's only going to light up, right? It's going to light up, but how does it light up? Which direction does it flow? So this is where we need to form a little information here. We can look at our chart and we can look up where zinc is found, zinc 2+. So if we look at zinc 2+, it's found right here, zinc 2+. So I'm going to write this reaction down right here. We have zinc 2+, 2 electrons, giving zinc solid. You know what? I'm going to keep the states of matter. I know the worksheet doesn't have that on there. Let's remember, this is aqueous solution. I'm going to put the voltage because we are going to figure out the ultimate voltage of this, like that. Then I'm going to look up my copper. We use copper to this 2 electron one. And that's plus 34. So I'm going to draw that out, or write that out rather. Copper 2+, aqueous, plus 2 electrons, yields copper solid, and it's a plus 34. Oops, 34, not 3D, 34. All right, so looking at the chart, which one is more negative? Well, it's the one that's closer here. So zinc is more negative. So this is the one that we're going to flip. And if it's harder to reduce, then it's easier to be oxidized. So now we can say that this side is oxidized. So I'm going to oxidize and I'm going to flip it. Zinc solid yields zinc 2+ aqueous plus 2 electrons. I'm going to flip that symbol, make it positive, 74 voltage. And this one is then considered reduced. So on my battery or on my drawing, I'm just going to put down reduced. So it's labeled up here. And this side is oxidized. So what happens, and what this is labeled, oxidized reactions are also known as, let's put it in here, the anode side. So oxide is the anode side. The reduced side is the cathode side. So on your little battery that you have, the Duracell battery, you may see a positive and negative symbol on it, and you have to put those into appropriately into whatever you're using. And your cathode side is the positive portion of the battery. Your anode side is the negative portion of the battery. So I'm going to put that up here just so we're labeling in both spots. Anode is negative, cathode is positive. So from physics, if we don't know, we're going to know now, but electrons flow from the anode side to the cathode side. Anode to cathode, let's write that down. Electrons flow from the anode, which is the negative, to the cathode, which is the positive. So in that case, when I'm looking at my battery, I'm going to use a pink marker to highlight. If that's the case, it's going from the side that's being oxidized, my anode side, and my electrons, I'll show it with just arrows. They're flowing from my anode side to my cathode portion of the electrochemical cell. So I'll just put a little E that they're showing. So I'm showing the flow of electrons. As the flow of the electrons happen, these electrons are in this metal. The electrons are flowing from this metal into this metal, and then there is information that's happening in the solution. But what we need to see about this metal is as the electrons are flowing, pieces of this metal are being released. We're losing part of that metal. So they're losing part of the metal, electrons are going into the cathode. That means at this end, we're gaining more electrons. So we physically on that piece of metal, we're showing that it does gain electrons. I mean, that's quite a lot, but you can see that. And this is where I mentioned that later in the day that we're using the metals, we're already starting to lose part of the electrons from the side. And we're starting to gain electrons from the side. So that's why the flow of electrons will slow down eventually, and then eventually they'll stop. All right, so again, I wrote salt bridge, but I didn't talk about what it is. And Pauline, I'll get right back to you in just a minute. So the salt bridge, let me just label what the salt bridge is. Salt bridge. Why we have it, I'm going to be very basic on this description, is that it balances the anions and cations. It balances your negative and positive. So in actuality, it counteracts any change in the charge. Because what we're not seeing here happen, so as we're losing that, then that means that the negative portion, which in this case, let's use a marker here. In this case, I'll draw that color green. The negative side of those salt bridge is going to go to the negative side of the solution. So in that solution that we have of NaCl, the Cl side is going to go into here, while the positive portion is going to go into the positive side. Oh, did I draw negative? It shouldn't be negative. It should be positive there. I put positive here and I didn't transfer it. I'm sorry. It should be positive. These should be matching. So negative to positive, big mistake. We want to make sure that these two match up. Negative to positive. Does that make sense now? We just did sodium positive. It should go to the positive side. I just didn't transfer that information. All right, so this reduction oxidation, so oxidation reduction reaction can be combined to make a big reaction, and we call that reduction oxidation redox reaction. So this is from a previous lesson. We're going to bring all this information together. We'll note that we have 2 electrons, 2 electrons. We don't need to balance anything. We can cancel the 2 electrons on both sides. And I'm going to bring out the information I have down. So it's zinc solid plus copper 2 plus aqueous. Let's color code that so you can see where it's coming from. My reduced side, my oxidized side is where I get this from. Then I have my arrow. And what do I have on my product side? I have my solid copper. So it's adding to this. It's adding to this. And I have zinc that's being removed and it's going into the solution. So it's becoming aqueous because it's being removed. It's coming into the solution. My product is I'm gaining copper solid. Right, so this is what the solution is. Let me color code that so you can see where that came from. Product and product. So there's my redox reaction. I can also simplify even a redox reaction to show you what's happening in this actual cell or battery that I did. So let's shorthand my redox. That means I'm going to focus, I'm going to focus on my zinc only, what's happening to zinc. Zinc is going to lose electrons, become more positive. So I'm going to put a dash mark. What occurs as a result, the product or the solution. Then I have another beaker, right? This is happening in one beaker. Then I have another beaker. What's happening into the second beaker? So when we separate the beakers, we put double dash line. That's a separation of the beaker. There's a separation of the beaker. And now I need to see what's happening in the second beaker. I start with copper ions. But if you remember what's happening to that metal, I'm getting more solid. So look here, now I have more solid. So shorthand of redox reaction is focusing on reduction oxidation. Focusing on just what's happening with the reduction section, just what's happening on the oxidation. And then one last thing that we need to consider is the voltage. So we have a voltage. If you look up here, my reduction voltage is positive 0.76. And then I have a positive 0.34. I put those both together and I get positive spontaneous reaction with, spontaneous reaction occurs, right? Electrons will keep flowing until there's no more flow, and then it'll die and I'll have to get a new battery because it's non-rechargeable. They refer to that as an E cell, or sometimes they draw the little degree sign. So that is the voltage that I should get on that voltmeter. So I'm going to pause my recording right now.